Hello, friends and enemies of the truth. This is Nick George coming to you live from another corporate airless room where I work about the most popular angel of light in the last 2,000 years, Jesus Christ. I want to let everybody know that Jesus, I've recently discovered, is a costume. He's a costume that's covering up a very well-known villain by the name of Belial, who fulfills a job title known as Satan, the adversary. We see Belial mentioned many, many times in the Bible, and we find that he permeates cultures that were far outside of Judaism and even went all the way over into Hinduism. They are familiar with this demon as well. But we see him mentioned in the canonized structure that we have in the Old Testament 26 times. He is the most named demon king or prince in all of the Old Testament and the New. In the New Testament, he is specifically directly named only one time in the canonized version. We could go into the Apocrypha where he's mentioned in the Gospel of Bartholomew in a very damning way. People should read that. That one will really get you. But if we're just sticking to the canonized version of the New Testament, he's mentioned once by Paul in what seems like a riddle. And that riddle sounds something like this in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. He asks what correspondence or harmony is there between Jesus Christ and Belial, the demon? And then he doesn't really answer the question. But later, just a couple of chapters later, I think chapter 11, verse 14, he says, "Don't you know that the adversary always poses as an angel of light?" And that is the answer to the riddle. And so Paul, a tax collector who's basically building an inverted form of the original Jamesian and fourth philosophy of the crucified person, the guy who literally has James killed illegally with an illegal Sanhedrin under a false pseudonym named Stephen in the book of Acts chapter 7, that Paul tells us directly in 2 Corinthians that Jesus has some correspondence or harmony with Belial. And then he answers the question in the same book, the same gospel, telling us that of course this entity always poses as an angel of light. And that's the correspondence, that's the harmony between the two. So let everyone understand that this psychological operation was a construct of the papal monetary system and the pontificate's hospitaller orders, the Knights Hospitallers, which are basically a form of Hegelian dialectical, where they infiltrate a indigenous society with missionaries. And once those missionaries have inverted the dietary and hygienic teachings of the local indigenous population, they replace them with the demonic dietary and hygienic advice found in Mark chapter 7, given by Jesus, to not wash your hands, and who cares what you put in your mouth? All pollution is blessed. The results of that dietary and hygienic wisdom would obviously lead people right into the hands of the hospitallers. And this was an early form of Hegelian dialectic and biological warfare by the oldest hierarchical organization on the planet that's still in control. Anyway, they create the monetary supply across the earth. It is the monetary system. They created the hospital matrix, the medical mafia that people refer to today, and they created the global Roman pontifical criminal tax basis itself. The Roman Church and its fake Jewish tax collectors, the Pisos, the Flavians, the Herodians, overthrew the world with the pre-existing demonological lattice, the work that had already been done creating the cloud rider motif for Baal, which is the precursor for Belial. This infrastructure, this pontifical infrastructure and strategy ultimately led to global maritime law, the birth certificate fiasco, and the subjugation of every human being on the planet that falls victim to these forms of mind control. There is no hope for humanity as long as we're using any form of money, any form, digital, it doesn't matter. If you are falling for the next monetary system, it is the same one that has been in control for 2,600 years and gave us Jesus Christ as its basis for existence. So there is no way that we can take the next step forward in human consciousness as a species as long as we're using any form of money, eating any form of carcass, or submitting to any form of mind control coercion, which is the Latin word for that is gubermente, government. So consider all of that very deeply. And if any of you have any questions or would like to have a discussion with me live for others to benefit from on my YouTube channel, I would be more than happy to do that. And I will be very cordial and respectful to any Christian that wants to do this live. And what I would like to do is demonstrate what happens when someone has this dawning realization candidly, so that others can see this exorcism. Thank you.